Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Eric and Jaime here. I'm in the anchor seat today.
Yes, you are.
Which is very strange for me.
You're driving. I'm not driving.
Yes. So I wanted to kick off the story with the top 10 highest paid entertainers in the world according to Forbes magazine. Now, I love these lists. I think lists are the best thing to talk about because they provoke conversation. You can see the criteria to see why people were left off. There's some surprises always in the top spots. I'm a big fan of lists. So I wanted to go through this list with you and give you some of my thoughts. So this is the top 10 highest paid entertainers in the world in 2022, the year that just passed. So they've assessed all of the money that came in and they made the list. Give us a few criteria so we know what we're going through with this list. Like who's not going to appear.
So we're not going to see the Kylie Jenners, the Kim Kardashians. This is strictly entertainers.
Yeah.
I
love that definition. I love it because it excludes the people who are famous for being famous and don't have a discernible talent. Look, we obviously work at TMZ. The Kardashians are very, very important. But when I think of an entertainer, I think of someone who is paid to provide a service to me in entertainment. Just gawking at the Kardashians, they are not entertainers to me. They are influencers.
I'm glad that makes you feel good, but I think it almost makes the list less interesting because those people kick a lot of asses of the people that are on this list.
If they made that list, it would be entirely different.
Course.
I think those people bring in maybe more money
Kylie,
than these people.
Kim, Kendall, Chris.
Right.
And no Rob.
Yeah, that's right. Rob somewhere in the distant
Yes.
top 500. So this is they've excluded those people because I think you're right. I think the list with the Kardashians would be largely stocked with Kardashians, and the discussion would be like, where are the real entertainers?
Yeah.
So they did the flip. They're using the people who are paid entertainers who have talent. And I don't want to cast too many aspersions against the Kardashians, but I'm saying talent in that they learned a skill. Taylor Swift sings. Things
even
like that.
Like the Logan Pauls and people I feel like would have made the list, but they are not.
Trolling, not a talent.
No.
Trolling, not a talent. Not for this list, at least. So let's go down. It's Bad Bunny with 88 million in the 10 slot. I'll just go through the list quickly. Taylor Swift with 92 million in the 9 slot. James Cameron, 95 million. Rolling Stones, 98 million. Brad Pitt, number 6 at 100 million. Now we're in the 9 figures. James Brooks and Matt Groening in the 5 spot with 105 million. Trey Parker and Matt Stone with 160 million in the 4 spot. And then the top 3, and this is a ton of money. Tyler Perry, 175 million. Number 3, Sting,
What?
210 million.
What?
And Phil Collins of Genesis and solo fame and the Tarzan soundtrack, $230 million in 2022, a year when he could barely drum at all because he had to be taken off stage. He's so frail at this point.
But odd that it was under Genesis, not just Phil Collins, but Sting left the police in the dust. It's just Sting.
It's just that new agey, crappy Charles Latibaudier music. That's what brought in $200 million. We give Charles a very hard time. He loves Sting. He loves wearing leather bracelets and lots of mystical things. Okay, I want to tell you my thoughts on this. First thought, 5 of the top 10 are musicians.
Yes.
I find this fascinating because when you talk about the music industry, often people are lamenting the death of music. We no longer sell CDs. Streaming only gives you pennies per play. We can't really you talk to Eric and it's like streaming killed music. It didn't. Music is alive and well. It just changed. Now they make all the money on touring and catalog sales.
Yes.
So the Stones tour into their, late, whatever they're in, their 70s and 80s, and they make a ton of money.
Their
touring.
tickets also go for so much because I was shocked they were on here, and then I was like, oh, I didn't know they were on tour. And then I looked, and they went to 15 cities. That's nothing.
It's
but
nothing.
They're also 112.
Do you know why they make so much money at their concerts? Because they appeal to rich older people who have amassed wealth still love the Stones. Your parents are rich. I'm not saying your parents specifically, but I'm saying people's parents have amassed money and can go to a night at the Stones for $250 a ticket.
Yes.
People who love let's see, Billie Eilish are young. They haven't hit their career peaks and they don't have enough money to spend.
That is surprising she is not on here.
She's not on
I didn't even think about that. Because Taylor Swift didn't tour last year. So that's all music money right there.
That's all music money. She's the one exception because she is so clever about how she sells her albums. They're like events. Have you ever talked
Yeah.
to like Mel? Like you get, I don't know, like
Ad
treats in
nauseam.
there. You
Yes.
get like like a fantasy
You get a special
sweatshirt.
Taylor Swift nickname that you have to like tattoo on the back of your inner thigh. And
You got to tip your cap to her, though. She's figured out how to make money the old-fashioned way in music, and not because touring is a grind, man. You know, it's hard being on the road. I don't know how Mick and Keith do it in their 70s. It seems exhausting in your 40s.
yeah.
But I find it fascinating. The other big obvious part of this, and we cover these stories, are catalog sales, right? That's what threw Sting and Genesis. They're not touring as much. They're just selling their catalogs. So these are kind of one-offs. So usually I think of these lists as like, you know, Oprah's on the list year after year. She's just a juggernaut. You're not going to see Phil Collins again. Phil Collins is the top of the list because they sold their catalog for so much, because Genesis and his solo work are just worth a ton of money, and he cashed out, and they'll be on commercials soon, and they'll try to make money that way, whoever bought them.
You raised an interesting thing. I feel like Oprah makes the criteria for this because she is a producer. She's got her own network.
It's a notable absence, isn't it?
Interesting.
You
Only
don't
one
see
woman on here.
Oprah.
Taylor Swift's the only lady who
What
got
do you-
the lady money.
What do you make of that? I have two major absences on this list. One is Oprah.
That's really, you saw the Forbes highest paid entertainers and you were like, where's
I
Oprah?
wasn't looking for Kim. Because
Okay.
I was like, this is beautiful. We don't have to talk about the Kardashians, even though somehow they've hijacked even this conversation, and they're not on the list. I saw Oprah not on the list.
Yeah.
Is her power dimming in any way? She she does big interviews. She does a Harry and Meghan interview, but Oprah, while she gardens and goes on hikes with Gayle, I don't think of Oprah as
no,
big
but
anymore.
I don't think you can call it dimming when you dim your own light.
Yes.
She's
She
taking the
could still
time.
do this.
She wants to be in Hawaii hiking for the new year,
Yeah.
doing what she does, eating her bread on top of a mountain.
Right. If she wanted a show tomorrow, a daily show, which is a grind and she had for years, she'd probably make this list again, because I think she's still in high demand.
Yeah. Oh, of course, she'd top
I
the
agree.
list. Who? Because I have someone else I found interesting is not on here. Who do you have in mind?
My second one lacking is Tom Cruise.
Interesting.
Tom Cruise reportedly got back end on Maverick, which people think saved movie theaters as a blockbuster. And he reportedly has made $100 million on the back end of just the movie Maverick. He got $13 million to star in the movie, but that was a very, relative to his fame, that's a small amount of upfront money. And he gambled on himself, and the movie brought in $770 million domestic, $1.5 billion international, or all in. He probably made a lot of money. I was surprised not to see him here this year.
Well, here's my question: are we looking at this like accountants that like they've paid their taxes, they've given? Because I'm not even trying to be funny. He probably gives half of his earnings to the Scientology church.
You know what? It's a good point. Maybe he just siphoned some of the money to David Miscavige, who needs it now.
Well,
man. He's
missing.
He's missing, and man's got to eat.
Yes, he does.
Man's got to eat.
So
maybe
that, not even being funny, that's kind of what my theory with Tom Cruise is, who I found interesting, not on here. Where's our little J-Lo?
Yeah, no J-Lo, and she's
got movies coming out the wazoo.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Does she tour?
horrible. I don't know if she toured last year, but
Yeah.
last year her Super. No, that was a few years ago.
a couple years ago on the Super Bowl.
But I
with
mean,
Shakira.
we've just had her shoved down our throat. It's
We
just
have.
been J-Lo.
She is in the biggest couple there is.
Yeah. So maybe I'm just confusing fame with money, but.
This is a lot of money. I think when you get past, if Bad Bunny starts the list at 88 million, I think.
Yeah.
You got to make a lot of money. And
I
Bad
know.
Bunny, did that surprise you to see Bad Bunny?
No,
it didn't
because
surprise me. He's massive.
I have been, yes, it has been shoved down my throat enough of like how stupid I am to not understand the cultural, which I do. I get it. He is a worldwide phenom. But
the Spanish-speaking world
yes,
loves music.
they do.
Shakira is beloved.
Oh my God, I
although
went to a
feels
Ricky Martin concert.
massive, I bet.
It was
Yeah.
like the wildest. I thought it was just going to be fun. People were wearing prom dresses. They were
Yes.
ready. They were
Yes.
ready.
They are very into their artists, and he is the top of the game. All
But
right.
then there's J-Lo.
That's true.
That's,
although she's kind of a hybrid. She should appeal to both markets, right?
Yeah.
Although she doesn't sing in Spanish that much. You remember when she was with Mark Anthony, she sort of leaned
Oh,
into
of
her
course.
Hispanic heritage
Yes.
more. She was more Puerto
Yes.
Rican and
She
played
was
that
Jenny
role.
from La Block.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now she's with Ben again, so she's much more Americanized.
Yeah.
She's
I
a
think
bit of a
she's
chameleon.
just on top of mind because I'm like on night 5 of trying to get through that insufferable shotgun wedding. I don't know
It's
why
a
I
lot.
won't quit. I got to finish it?
You got to just bail.
Oh,
I think you pull the
God.
cord. My rule is if you fall asleep twice while watching it, you pull the plug.
Interesting.
Yeah, you got to pull the plug because then it's telling you, your body's telling you, you don't want to see this
It's
movie.
rejecting.
That's
It's like
my
a splinter.
rule. I'm giving you that.
Okay.
All right, my second big takeaway from this is cartoons, like animation.
Yeah.
Huge. And I
Yeah.
didn't expect it. I knew The Simpsons is an institution. It's been on the air since 1989. It's got 700 episodes. I knew it made a lot of money, but top 5 money?
Well, how about
like
that?
105 million for these two guys?
Simpsons and then South Park, but then noticeably absent Seth MacFarlane
Yes.
for Family Guy. Which
Family
to
Guy,
me, they're
American
all
Dad.
the same. They're all twin. They're all triplets in my mind.
I wonder if it's because Seth MacFarlane has. Look, animation makes a ton of money. I thought it was more labor intensive than it is, but maybe they don't pay the animators that much. Maybe things have changed. There's a lot of money, and you're right. Seth MacFarlane though has kind of pivoted to trying to be live action. He does that show. Like a send up of Star Trek. Have you ever seen it?
No, but it sounds like pull the plug. Sounds like you're falling asleep more than twice.
It's a pull the plug kind of show.
But South Park still has. not Family
Guy.
Guy. Family Guy still has new episodes.
Yes.
I wonder though if it's because they are actual huge names who voice that maybe a lot of money goes to them. Mila Kunis, Seth Green.
Interesting. It's probably more expensive
Yeah.
because of the voice work on that show, whereas you don't know the voices on South Park who
No.
aren't Trey and Matt.
It
Trey and Matt
is
do a lot
Trey
of the
and Matt
voices.
for 99% of the characters. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Although the Simpsons people, you would assume those voice workers get a lot of money. They've been doing it for.
Well, maybe that's why they're below Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, 160 million. So they are now. You're going to see South Park apparently on Paramount Plus, and they're making more South Park movies. Those guys are massive. What a machine. All right, my other point. James Cameron, 95 million. This was when I thought of like, where's Tom Cruise? Is that guy? That guy has 3 of the top 4 movies of all time in terms of box office. I just think people sleep on James Cameron and always underestimate whether like his movies are going to be billion-dollar box office, and they always are.
Sleep on James Cameron.
Didn't people say like, oh, who wants to see Avatar 2? Is anyone looking forward to this? Avatar 1 has no cultural footprint. It's a huge movie, but do you remember Avatar?
Yes, yes, I do.
But it's like kind of.
But
like,
I wouldn't call James Cameron like the.
He's a sleeper.
Like
He's an underdog.
Yeah, the underdog story of victory, and who would have thunk? Rudy.
I guess so. I guess he's not like an underdog, but
James.
he's massive. 2 Avatar movies in the top 3 of all time. Only sandwiched in there is, I believe, Avengers Endgame.
Did you see Avatar 2?
I didn't. And I don't really have like a huge interest in seeing it. Did you see it?
Oh, God, no.
It's made so much money. I feel like we
know.
must be the only 2 people on Earth who haven't seen it. Yet
Maybe.
I feel like I know other people who don't care about Avatar, and yet it's a $1 billion franchise.
But I think that it's also like a repeat customer that like people who saw it probably saw it twice.
Right. Go to the theater, which is now
Yeah.
going to the theater is like $30.
Yeah.
In LA at least. And so they're spending like $60 to see Avatar twice.
Do they still do? So when I saw Avatar, I saw it in 3D. Do they still do 3D glasses?
Oh, yeah. They give you the 3D glasses.
how
It's apparently amazing.
exhausting.
It's apparently amazing. All right. And the last one, Tyler Perry, I have to mention, like, he's bigger than we
surprise,
all
though.
remember. He's still, I like him because he does his sort of Medea thing, which is a cash cow, but he's also like branching out into artistic projects a little bit.
Well,
I like Tyler
He produces
Perry.
a ton of things.
He produces so
Yeah.
much. He's the king of Atlanta, which is now a huge, I mean, it's not LA, but it's like next to LA. It's like a huge filming place, and he's the king there. So I think it's pretty cool. All right. We should probably move on. We've exhausted a lot, unless you have any final thoughts on this list.
No, love.
I thought it was fascinating. I love talking about lists. But now we're going to talk about penises. So the other story of the day.
I was trying not to say anything.
That's quite a segue, right?
Everybody just kind of rewound the
wait
pod
a
and was like, "Did I hear that right?"
The number one story that we have going on is what happened on Naked and Afraid. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, first of all, Derek, I would just say it's a big year for penises.
a big year.
We're just getting over Prince Harry and his frostbitten penis. You know.
Yeah. Pete Davidson has been on the tip of everyone's tongue for a year. I mean,
I wish you could have used a better phrase, a tip of the tongue. Yes. So Naked and Afraid, contestant. He was in, I believe, New Mexico, and they're braving the desert. It's cold. It's hot. They are sleeping by a fire one night when a pop of the coals,
yes.
boop, right on the ween.
Oh, sweetheart.
Last night we stayed very close to the fire and we've been peppered by hot coals. And one of the said coals has landed on my my little soldier's helmet.
That's cold. I'm going to look like I've been hit with buckshot when I get home.
Thankfully, this brave heroic medic is about to make sure it's It's not going to get infected.
It shouldn't be too traumatizing.
Are you a camper? Do you understand like
well,
coals
not a
popping?
not a naked camper. Yes, I've seen a fire before.
I
Thank you.
didn't know.
Have you ever seen a fire?
I feel like you've never been outside of like maybe a fire pit. I don't feel like you've ever like camped.
I've camped.
I don't know.
I'm a camper girl.
I don't think.
Okay,
of you as
but
camper.
also fire is the same in a fireplace inside a 5-star hotel.
That's
It still
true.
pops.
I believe you light all your fires at like a gas.
Of
Like,
course.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm correct.
Of course.
So Sam Mauser. So yeah, the coals in a piece of wood like popped out, and Naked and Afraid. I think this should be the end of Naked and Afraid in some sense because there's no reason to sleep by a fire naked. It's like actively dangerous, and this was bound to happen. And I watch a show called Alone, which also throws people into the wilderness, but
Naked?
not naked.
Okay.
Are you interested in the like fact that they're naked in the woods, or interested in like how they survive to find food?
Because I wouldn't mind. You go with what you're wearing and that's it, and then you slowly watch it tatter over the episodes. For me, it's so I can't handle all the bug bites on the bodies that it's too much.
Same.
And it seems cruel that I'm like, okay, but I don't want them to be taken out by mosquitoes. Like, let's see the real elements.
That's exactly right. I
Give
feel
them
like
some shoes,
it adds this element of like
some
it's not sexy.
underpants.
Yeah, give them some undies.
some shoes,
Just
and some undies.
I don't need to see things crawling into orifices. Like it doesn't seem. It seems unnecessarily cruel. Like Survivors started this whole trend of survivalism, but they gave them a little bit of rice. Like because you want to see people like sort of rough it
I wanted
and
to see
become
him
dirty.
battle a bobcat. I don't want to see the
I wanna see
mosquitoes.
him
Once
hunt.
again, the
I wanna see him
mosquitoes.
I want to see him sharpen a tool, but I don't need to see their wanker like the whole time. And you're watching these blurs, so it's not like titillating in any way. There's no sexual chemistry on these shows because when you're filthy and starving, you're not thinking
And
about
surviving.
sex.
Yeah.
So it just seems like this could be the end. I guess I wanted to talk about this because Sam Mauser, who's now suffering from like probably a permanent scar on the tip of his wang, should maybe cause society to say, hey, do we need to see his wang anymore?
I know that you thought the first thing I thought.
What, that he's going to use this? And
that he's British. So like,
how
how
you think he had a little protection built
how
in?
damaged did this ween get? Or was it like, oh, thank God?
My actual first thought was that he will use this in the dating world to be like, want to see it.
Oh, God. And what girl do you think is like, yep?
Yeah. Well, he might be like, want to see it, but if you see it, you got to give it a kiss.
Oh, my God. So now he's a predator?
Not a predator. I mean, perfectly consensual. Just as part of
God.
his dating repertoire. That's what I thought he may use it. Because you got to turn like lemonade and lemons into lemonade. I mean, he's got a scarred, coal-burned penis. I feel like that's the only direction to go.
Poor guy, luckily, he did keep a sense of humor. Yeah, when they were not operating, but I guess tending to the damaged
As
penis.
the medical staff came out, yes.
He was making jokes at least. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he actually seemed kind of fine. That
Yeah.
I was like, why does he get Neosporin? You know what I mean? Like,
you wanted it to get infected.
no,
You thought next up.
I feel like that whatever damage they have from like bug bites
Yeah.
and like scorpions and
Sure.
all sorts of things, like if those don't get medical attention, why does like a little like singed ween get?
Boy, you are savage.
This is
he
naked
had an open
and afraid.
wound.
I don't
Yeah.
want it to be naked and cozy.
Right.
You know?
All right. So if you want to catch it all, the new season of Naked and Afraid airs this Sunday. They'll clearly show you all the gory details of the penis incident. See you next time.